like one of the few people in the world. What's the other movie? Forrest Gump, I think, is another one I've never seen.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Nico Likes to Talk, a conversation podcast where I do the one thing I've been told I do a lot, is talk. And today I have the awesome chance to talk with a friend and fellow travel enthusiast, Juliana Fargnoli. Let's see what we talk about today. Juliana, so great to finally have you here to talk with me on Nico Likes to Talk.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. I appreciate the invite.
We were chatting offline though, because I know you just were talking about honestly anything really, but I'm curious, you just came back from Japan and I had some questions I wanted to ask, but I was like, let me wait till here to ask it. I was like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
go through it all. How was it? How was your trip to Japan?
It was incredible. We went for 3 weeks, so it was a long trip. We really did everything that we possibly could within that time frame. I am really glad we took the time to go to each city that we visited. Probably would make some adjustments to our next trip, but overall, I think we did a pretty good job for our first time visiting Japan.
Now, what part specifically? Because I know when people think Japan, they just think Japan, but there's certain cities that are like the hot spots to go to.
Yeah, so we had a whole itinerary kind of starting up in Tokyo. We flew into Tokyo direct from Denver, which was pretty convenient. It was about 12 or so hour flight.
Oh goodness.
Yeah, so it was a long one, but honestly, flying direct was definitely making that a lot easier for us.
Way to go.
It's about a 15-hour time difference, so that was kind of an adjustment for sure.
Oh,
but,
dude. Oh, God.
Yeah. I thought there'd be some days where we're kind of struggling and sleepy, but it's nothing like you would have ever dreamed of. It's you just at 8 o'clock at night, almost every day, I felt like I was going to pass out regardless of where we were, what we were doing.
No. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So that was an adjustment, but after a week and a half of being there, we got there. So, but yeah, we went to Tokyo, spent a majority of our time there. Honestly, we gave that a solid 5 days. Went to Kyoto for a few days, Osaka, spent some time in Hiroshima, and then went up north to Hokkaido at the end and spent some time in Sapporo. So kind of all over the country.
Is it did you take trains from city to city?
Yeah, so we flew into Tokyo. From Tokyo, we did some day trips as well. So we actually drove out of the city. We also took trains out of the city. But then going to Kyoto, we took a train. Kyoto, Osaka, took a train. Then basically went by train all the way down to Hiroshima. And then once we were down kind of in the southern area, we flew up to Sapporo. So that made it a little bit more effective with the time we had remaining in our trip, and we were able to see more of what we wanted to do while we're there.
Okay. Now, I wouldn't say I'm a hip guy, but I would love to see the I would love to see the historical culture stuff. But where is the parts where a good you want to have a good time? Because the nightlife, I'm so interested in experience what that nightlife would be like there.
Yeah.
It seems out of this world.
Absolutely. I mean, Tokyo for sure. I would say Tokyo and Osaka are probably going to be your nightlife spots.
Yeah.
Tokyo, it's such a vast city. It's enormous. We stayed in Shinjuku, and we're staying pretty high up in our hotel, and we had amazing view of the entire city, and at any direction that you looked out the window, you could still see the city spanning. It was just, I've never seen a city this large in my life. The biggest, comparison I had at that point was honestly going to New York City, Paris. But this is completely blows that out of the water.
Another level.
Yeah. So it was incredible.
So cool.
But yeah, I would say within Shinjuku, there's tons of nightlife. Lots of bars, lots of restaurants with bars, izakayas. We didn't do too much partying there. Honestly, by the time it was like 8 p.m., I
I mean,
was
I'd be tired.
resting.
You're like, oh,
Yeah, yeah. So I
yeah.
think, our next trip, maybe if we ended in a city, that might have been a little bit easier for us to get a sense of what the nightlife had to offer. But definitely bustling nightlife in Osaka as well. There's an area called Dotonbori where it's kind of like a little mini Vegas strip kind of feel. Just tons of people, tons of like food vendors, like tons of bright neon lights.
Yeah.
It's just the energy is very reminiscent of Vegas for sure. So I would say those would probably be the best spots to check out the nightlife if
Okay.
that's what you're in for. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's also just because like I want to see the neon lights. Cause I feel like every city at night should have neon lights. Like I kind of feel
Yeah.
like if you're a city that's have neon lights, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you want
I
people to look like,
know.
oh, this is a cool place to be.
They have so much more fun with everything. Whether it's like their I don't know, the buildings, the architecture, even
Mm-hmm.
like the newer construction. It's just fun, funky buildings, fun lights, different colors, different materials,
Uh,
like just completely different from anything we really have in the US. Um, the lights obviously are a huge part of that, but then just the culture in general, it's just they're a little bit more whimsical than we are in the US. So it's just
yeah. Oh yeah, I
really
can see that.
hmm um but yeah, I would say highly recommend it. I honestly am an urban person, and I thought that I was going to be more drawn to the city life than
Mm-hmm.
the nature. But honestly, going there just because of how densely populated it is, and the nature there is so incredibly beautiful. I really was more drawn to just kind of being out in the wild there and being away from people and kind of being
Yeah.
um yeah, just with the animals and the beautiful
Yeah.
environment around us. So I was kind of surprised by that, honestly. I knew I'd love both, but I really did appreciate the times where we were kind of away from the masses and able to enjoy the natural beauty of Japan. So yeah.
Yeah. Just sitting in almost like nature in that silence because I mean, just I can see like how the anxiety can set in, like, because you think you're used to like a city, and then you get to like a city, you're like, oh,
Mhm.
I am ill prepared for
Yeah,
going on around this corner, what's going on in that corner. And you got
yeah,
the language barrier too. It's like, am I supposed to be
absolutely.
here?
Absolutely. I know. Honestly, when we got to Shinjuku, we didn't realize it's the busiest train station in the world. We got in on a Sunday, like Sunday evening by the time we got to the train station, and we couldn't find the exit. Like, we spent maybe 20, 30 minutes kind of going in circles around the train station trying to figure out how to get out of there. Parts of it were under construction, but there were just so many people trying to like read the signs in Japanese and trying to figure out
Everybody's
where
pulling
we
out their
needed to
Google
go.
camera, like,
Yeah. So it
yeah,
was pretty funny. We're laughing just watching like basically like our Google Maps kind of trailed where we were going, and we basically were just walking in circles for 20 minutes trying to figure out where we
yeah,
needed to be. But yeah, getting out of the train station, just yeah, like you said, just in a completely new world. And in Tokyo, they really take advantage of verticality. So not only was it, tons of people on our level, but just looking up, there's businesses and lights and just everything is kind of booming
yeah.
as you like everywhere your eyes can see. So it's just disorienting. Plus the jet lag and the I don't know.
Time
It really
difference.
was like time difference. Yes, everything. It just felt completely out of my element, but it was really refreshing. I think that's one of the things I like the most about travel is just kind of feeling like you're in a new land and not really um, entirely comfortable with your surroundings. I think that that's a really
Right.
important feeling to embrace and experience, regardless of where you're going. So,
Yeah. I think traveling helps you build empathy for like other people that are coming to
mhm.
like say America. You had in Japan, I couldn't imagine coming to America at any given time, just walking around like New York or even like say Colorado or Florida or Texas, and you're just like, what is this place? Because every like just like in Japan, different cities, different countries have different cultures.
Mhm.
The Tex culture in Texas
Yeah.
It's entirely different than Colorado. And like, if you're
Yeah.
an immigrant or anybody coming over, you're like, what the heck is happening? What is wrong with these people? Why do they do it this way? Why does this grocery store have this and this one doesn't? Why is Chick-fil-A closed on a Sunday?
Yeah.
Why is it?
That was
But
something. Oh my gosh. We went, I guess 7-Eleven is a huge deal over there too. And obviously we
really?
have 7-Eleven in the US, but completely different. Like there in 7-Eleven, you
Oh,
can get like meals. You can use the bathroom. The bathrooms are
oh
clean,
shit.
often with like bidets and heated seats. Yeah, it was just like a whole new appreciation for 7-Elevens over there. But that was definitely one of the funnier moments and kind of realizations when we went into one of those, like their
You can literally
convenience
go to
stores.
7-Eleven every day for dinner.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. Tristan is celiac, so we had some limitations, but outside of that, like we went there pretty much every day, stocking up on like waters and snacks and
Mm,
sushi, sake, like
yeah,
everything. It was great. So that was
that's
definitely a
awesome.
fun convenience. Yeah,
I would definitely like
yeah,
to stay.
but
It's just the fact to me it is the time difference that'll probably kick my butt, but I would need to be there like 2 weeks. But it
yeah,
sounds like if I was there for a month, I think by the third week your brain sort of catches up, right? If to
yeah,
how things are, you know.
yeah. I think if I'm being fully honest and transparent, it
Please.
probably took me a solid 2 weeks to adjust to the time difference. I think if I
And then
could do
back
it
to it.
over, yeah, I know, right back to work. I think I would recommend that people start in more of a serene environment, maybe start more like in northern, like Hokkaido area and just kind of like adjust to your setting and just adjust to the time differences and then kind of make your way into the cities. I think that that would be a little bit easier on your body, your mental
Yeah.
stimulation. But I don't know. I really would revisit every single city that we went to. I think you probably could do a 2 week trip as well. If you ever want to go, I would be happy to
I
review some
do. I
specific
do.
suggestions. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's how high on the list it is as opposed to places because
Mhm.
Australia is the top.
Yeah. What part?
Honestly, I mean Sydney of course, just to get the main biggest, I guess that's got to be the biggest destination in Australia out of
Hmm.
the way, and then eventually figure out the countryside, but do it in a safe way. I'm not trying to be, lost in the middle of the outback. That shit's not happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but that's always been the top. The accents, just the culture.
Hmm.
Then the next would probably be London, and then after, I mean, honestly, some places in Africa, maybe Kenya, but then Japan probably after that. I
Yeah.
mean, just for the anime food, but just I don't know. I just like the idea of like continents. Like I like the idea of going as furthest out I could from where I
Yeah.
am. And I thought Australia was the furthest you could really go. I mean, it's literally down under. And I'm like, well,
Pretty far.
yeah,
It might
yeah.
be. Yeah. I've never been to Australia, but it's supposed to be beautiful. It seems
Plane
like
travel.
yeah. Yeah. Definitely a lot of connecting flights.
I
But
hate it.
once you're there, I don't know.
You're there. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Do you
I that's
scuba or anything like that?
do I scuba dive?
Yeah.
I've never done it, but I would. I mean, it's got to be fun. Have you done that?
Yeah. I am certified, but I've actually never scuba dived in the ocean.
Wait, you're
That's
certified?
yeah, yeah. So I
That's
think I need
awesome.
to, yeah, I know. We're going to be going to Mexico here at the end of the month, and I'm kind of wondering if it would
Sweet.
make sense to try to test out my scuba
Bring
skills
it.
then. I think I need to do some refresher
Uh,
classes beforehand, but maybe in the near future.
what what part of Mexico are you going to? Where are you going?
But we're going to Puerto Vallarta at the end of the month. So yeah, like
Oh,
next week
okay.
actually.
Is it a resort?
Yeah.
Oh, like end of the month. I'm
No.
like, what do you mean
Yeah, I
now?
know. I guess it is the end of the month already. No, we're gonna be staying with one of my childhood friends. Her mom has been living out there for 7 or 8 years at this point.
Oh,
So we're gonna
dude,
go
that's
stay with
cool.
her and yeah, check out the city and see what it has to offer. Spend more time in the Yucatan Peninsula, the opposite side of the country. So
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what Puerto Vallarta is like. And yeah, we're
Yeah.
very excited. So
That's awesome.
be
Now we
cool.
were in Mexico for an all inclusive recently,
Yeah.
which was fun. You know,
Where'd
I know
you go?
eventually we want to go out and see the culture, but it was
Hmm.
called, what was the name of the resort? Like the Beloved. It's like part of this Beloved company, or not company. I can't remember the right phrase, but
Yeah, like a chain.
yeah, the chain. Yeah, it's one of their resorts, and it was like a couples only boutique
Nice.
style. So like it wasn't huge, but it
Yeah.
was like big enough for all the couples to hang out, have fun.
Hmm.
I think there was two pools, beach, food, drinks. It was just a great time.
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds
it
nice.
kind of it kind of spoils you, way, right? Because I'm used to like
Mhm.
drinking either at home or going to a bar here. But when you go there, the stuff is just keep them coming.
Yeah, I know.
Like
Gotta take advantage
it,
of it.
yeah.
Get
Oh,
your
for
money worth.
sure.
Yes.
Heck, oh, I did. I
Yeah.
did. I'm not I love food. I'm not a heavy drinker like I used to, but then
Yeah.
I still want to be respectful. But like at this place, the rule, like not lights out at 11, but like all parties in your little rooms are out at 11. Where
Hmm.
like some resorts, you can go till like 3 in the morning. And we did get in trouble one of the last nights. It wasn't us, but we were in a room with other people. And like
Uh-oh.
they called because we were playing music too loud at like 11 in the little private pool. They were like, "Hey, you guys got to cut that crap out."
Oh.
Like, uh-oh.
Oh.
Um,
That's
but it
funny.
was fun.
Yeah.
But nah, it's awesome. You scuba dive. You should definitely do it while you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I probably didn't prep enough for this upcoming trip, but definitely the next time we go, I think that's in the cards. But I'm a little
What would you have
scared.
to do
I
to prep?
honestly, so they have refresher courses you can do. I got certified pre-COVID, so it's been a little while now. Basically just making sure I remember how to communicate with your diving buddy and I don't know, just some
Mm-hmm.
specifics that you'll want to keep in mind
I'm
just to
sure. Like you
so
got
you
to
don't
get the
get the
right hand
bends.
signals.
No.
Not like help.
Yeah, yeah. I think at this point I'd be a little bit panicked if I was to jump in the ocean with my current yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this
So
is. Why don't you? Can you stick to like a pool?
yeah, you can. Where I got certified was actually in New Mexico, of all places. In
Oh,
Santa Rosa, they have a what's called the Blue Hole, and it's basically like a giant. I don't know. I can't remember how. I think it's a 60-foot hole that you go down to the bottom of, and then you kind of gradually work your way up. That's where I completed my certification, but I think the ocean is going to be a whole nother experience entirely.
wow.
So, yeah,
Gee. Oh well. I mean, the ocean's unforgiving. There is
yeah,
no end. It
yeah.
just goes.
The currents, yeah, animals,
Yeah.
those like a whole nother game. So
Thing.
yeah, I think probably do a refresher course or two before doing that, but we'll see. Hopefully soon.
See, you've always struck me as a person who like you say you're certified, but like it doesn't surprise me that you're certified because you seem
Yeah,
like you just like you. I can imagine you looking online and seeing like scuba diving. I guess I can get certified in that. Just to do it. And now that you have it,
yeah,
like all right, I have it. It's like I feel like you treat activities almost like getting a passport. Like, well, I'd rather have it than not have
yeah, that's
it. you
true.
know.
Yeah, but I've been too much of a chicken really to try it out in the ocean. So we'll see. I need to push myself.
I
That's the next step.
mean, I mean,
It's a little intimidating.
no one would ever blame you for like, oh, you didn't scuba dive in the ocean. How dare you? But you're certified. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, like, it's
yeah,
okay.
I know.
I'd be
Well,
scared too. Shoot.
no,
It's
the
the
temperature.
ocean.
Yeah. Well, and when I went, it was like April in New Mexico, which is it's pretty cold in New
Pretty
Mexico at that time
warm.
of year.
Oh, really?
It is
Oh.
freezing. Yeah, at least in this area, it's kind of I think north of Albuquerque. But it was
Mm.
I don't remember what the temperatures were, but we had to wear like the whole wetsuit. And I think if I could dive in temperatures I could just wear a bathing suit, honestly, I'd feel a lot more comfortable. But freezing cold waters, like being out of your element underneath, I don't know. It's a
With
lot
like
of
60 pounds of air tank on your
gear.
back. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll see.
That's
Just find the
fair.
right spot. But
That is it's like a secret, not a secret, but a goal of mine is to wear a wetsuit in the
hmm
water. Because in my mind, I'm thinking the wetsuit, you put it on, you don't feel the temperature. Like
Oh.
but on a wetsuit, it's cold still, right? Like you still feel it, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's still cold. I remember I think I was getting over a cold, which probably wasn't helping, especially when you have to wear all the snorkel gear. But I remember my lips were like blue. It was frigid. So definitely recommend not being sick when you get scuba certified.
Oh
And maybe
no,
for your first dive,
I
go somewhere warmer. Yeah.
I'll go to the Gulf or somewhere and
Yeah,
like
that would
call
be
it a
smart.
day.
Yeah,
Nah,
that's
I
cool.
hate cold water
Yeah.
with a passion. It's like, well, if I'm a swim, why? Like, if somebody says like, "Oh, the pool's heated," like I know, like I
hmm
can look and like even before I get in, and I look at the temp, I'm like, that ain't heated. You're lying to me. Like I
I feel the
know.
same way. I know, and it needs to be in like direct sunlight all day. Yeah, it
Yeah,
needs to be nice warm
all
water.
day, all night, and then it needs to be like at least 80s, 90s. Like I need to feel like I'm
Mm.
in a hot tub.
Yeah,
Like
75 feels pretty chilly, I think. We
it's extremely
some
chilly.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
Not my
the
thing.
in-laws keep theirs at 75, and I look and I'm like, that's not heated. You lie every time.
Yeah. Basically like
The
natural.
pool feels like like if I go to the
Yeah.
YMCA, that's warm,
hmm
and I shouldn't have to go there.
Yeah. I agree. Definitely not in Florida. What's your
No,
next
no.
destination, do you think? Do you have something planned?
Well, there's a wedding I'm going to in Philadelphia in March, and then Puerto Rico potentially in September. But
Nice.
ultimate outside of like the country proper, because I still consider Puerto Rico pretty much America
Yeah.
essentially, but like furthest out, again Australia. Thing is, I like flying, but I hate flying now because it feels honestly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, even first class tickets are just like,
It's so expensive.
what's the point? I would
Yeah.
love to do a cruise to a
Yeah.
place.
That might be a
I
good
like to
option
walk
for you.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of good ones. Like the closest port is an hour away to do that, honestly. I
hmm
would go to Japan on a ship, just like if I was in the
Yeah.
military or anything. I just like the idea, like I would like to take 2 weeks to get to a place and then spend 2 weeks there. I like the experience of it. Because I get to
That's
walk
fair.
around, I get to heal my thoughts
hmm
for long periods of time, unless I flew private,
Yeah.
but then, it's private.
Yeah.
But that is honestly my next, this year is only two places so far.
Yeah.
Um,
Have you been on a cruise before? Or
no,
no? I
no, I
haven't.
haven't.
Yeah.
I would like to.
I like wonder
I've
if I
seen some good ones.
feel claustrophobic. Is that like a weird thought? Like
No, I
not
don't think
being
you
able to
would.
get off
I
the
mean, look,
boat?
you can't get out the plane.
Yeah, that's true.
One, I think, all right,
Well,
one, you're more likely to survive if it goes down versus the other. But again, also probably not if that's your way you're.
yeah.
But I don't think you feel claustrophobic because even in the Navy, like when you're on the ship, you have your barracks, but you can walk around, you can go
Mhm,
outside. It's kind of soothing to
mhm.
just sit outside and just watch the water. You're just
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Um, and if you feel claustrophobic, step outside. Most of the rocking you won't really feel it unless it's like horrible waves, but they have pills for that if you ever
hmm
get seasick. But I mean, you're
Yeah.
scuba certified, so I don't think you're afraid of like water properly. I mean,
Uh, no.
yeah. So I feel
I do get
like,
seasick though, so I don't know. That
but it,
that's
it
something
depends on
that
like how long you're on a boat for. Like it's huge.
yeah,
It's like you won't really
yeah.
you'll feel it once it starts, and if you hit like bad
hmm
waves, but if it's just calm seas,
hmm
yes, it rocks, but like you would be used to it, and you're too
Okay.
busy in the pool or at the bar or whatever. But
hmm
going on a cruise is definitely on the list. There's
Yeah,
some that I've been
yeah.
looking at,
It's
but
convenient for you with being close to. I think Miami is like a huge cruise port, isn't it? I don't know.
yeah, Miami. I mean, the closest one I mean, Port Canaveral's an hour away.
Yeah.
Miami's 3 hours away. If I wanted to go to Miami, cruise like any cruise out of there, I could take the Bright Line train we have here that goes from Orlando to Miami. So if I
Mhm.
needed to do that, it's just finding the right one. So far, Virgin seems like the best cruise line. Like, I mean, I've
Yeah.
never done it, but I have friends and people that I know that have done it. and
Hmm.
they say it's a good time. They say not carnival, you know,
Yeah.
if you can.
Any reason or
Um,
just that's a bad one?
which I guess, like, have you seen like those memes of like people on like the Virgin Atlantic cruise are like sophisticated, but then the Carnival cruise pulls up and they're just blasting like party music, and that's where all the fights happen on
Mm,
Carnival because it's like the cheapest
I see.
option. It's like airlines now
Yep.
of cruises.
Okay. I don't even know
You
anything
know,
about cruises. Yeah, that makes sense.
uh,
Tristan says,
so Royal Caribbean, yeah, like you kind of there's like tier lists,
yeah,
like if you want to fly comfortable,
that makes
Spirit
sense.
is probably not your one.
No,
Granted,
no.
I've never had an issue, but I can see how others have.
Oh,
You
Spirit.
know,
Remember
yeah,
after a wedding, I had to take Spirit from, let's say it was like Detroit to Denver and pay for water, which I thought was
yeah.
bizarre. I don't know if that's legal anymore, but
I don't
it was
know.
very disappointing. Like
Frontier, you
$4 bottle
gotta
of water.
pay. I don't
Yeah.
know about water, but you got to pay. I mean, if you even want like a Dr Pepper, I like Dr Pepper, but like any food or any like snacks that other airlines would just give you, like they nickel and dime you on all these
Yeah.
flights. Like you already have our
It's
money
frustrating.
happening here.
I know.
Yeah,
It's already expensive too. It's not like you're just
no,
crazy. But remember
no,
you said your favorite destination you've been to, or at least at the time, was Malta. I think
yes.
we're trying to go to Malta in this somewhat near future. What was your experience like? You mind talking about that a little bit?
No, I don't mind. It's funny. I was talking to another guest about this, and from I barely remember it at this point
Yeah,
now. Not because it's long, but
yeah.
because like I was in the military and there was a lot of things happening at the time. But for me,
Hmm.
honestly, the feeling I have is just everywhere where we were was walkable. Everybody was friendly, and it was just camaraderie I felt during that time. But I guess now, if I were to go, I would definitely take in the culture more.
Hmm.
But I just remember it was one of those times. It was just of togetherness, and everybody just was happy because it
Yeah.
was just like this is my first real exposure at the time to like people like partying on the street and then going from the
Hmm.
bar to the street or going from this thing. Like everything was sort of almost interconnected at the
Hmm.
time. So like if you want to go get something to eat, you can eat here and then walk over here and then go to the
Hmm.
bar. Like that's how I picture almost like Japan is. Like I thought of like if I was like a detective or something in Japan, or like Blade Runner, just eat at the little noodle stand and go to the little bar here. Then like, just it kind of felt like that. Like
Yeah.
everywhere you went, it was always a little weird hole in the wall, but you walk into it, it's
Yeah. And something else is right around the corner.
small, but everything is it's like deceivingly. Everything is just deceivingly bigger than I remember. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this place looks like run down, but you look inside, it's like, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. That's cool. Do
So no,
you
Malta's
remember?
fun. I wouldn't even know.
Yeah. Do you remember what the food was like? Was that memorable?
Honestly, I don't remember. I was eating because I was drinking at the time. So it's just kind of like
Yeah.
whatever was
Okay.
where I
Yeah.
could get.
That's fair.
But I wasn't much of a foodie then. I got to be honest. Like I just saw, and to this day, I kind of still see food as kind of like utility. Like I
Yeah.
like eating, but I'm not in love with it. I kind of see it as a chore more than anything.
I wish I was that way. I could go
uh,
out of my way to find good food. It's like
I
food
like
and
good food. Yeah.
traveling. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah, I'm more of a dessert cheesecake person, but like I think it's been so long since I've had something that like I thoroughly like. I can't wait to have that particular thing again. I
Hmm.
like experiences,
Yeah.
um, but I'm probably a weird eater. Like I don't like eating at restaurants with people. I know I like breakfast, but
Okay.
not like dinners.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
like cooking or is that I don't know, just what do you like about food?
I just kind of have to do it.
Enjoying it?
Like that's the thing. I kind of have to do it. It's like begrudgingly. It's like all right, flip the page. I mean, I like the idea of trying a recipe, but then I
Hmm.
get deflated immediately when it doesn't look like the picture. I'm like, see, this is why I don't do this.
Yeah.
I find something, I stick with it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, if I can put it in the oven and that's all I have to do,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do it. Like, I
Yeah.
see how people think cooking's an art, or it is. I'm not an artist. I just work here. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I see it.
Transactional. Yeah, yeah. I get it. That's fair.
Um, no, I mean, that's just for me. Like, I like being invited to dinner and places with people, but I hate
Mm-hmm.
going
Yeah.
because the whole experience, because I know, like, I'm hyper aware that there's people waiting for this table to eat at.
Yeah. We're
Unless it's a
cognizant of
buffet,
that.
then I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm super cognizant of it. What about you?
I am obsessed with food. I feel like I'm like cooking or going out to eat. Definitely like, I don't know, love trying different types of cuisine, but I would say most of our travel kind of centers around food in some
Okay,
capacity.
that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it is and it isn't. It's expensive. Um,
Yeah,
and I
but worth
think
it.
there's a lot of other, activities and experiences you can enjoy while on vacation. But I think that tends to be like our focus for a majority of our trips.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's, yeah, I've always loved food. I think I've had the um luxury of living in different areas of the world where there's a lot of different amazing
Yeah,
cuisines available. And I think that like from a young age kind of sparked interest in it. But
because you
yeah,
lived in Italy before, right? Like you lived there.
we did not live in Italy, but we were able to travel there more often when I was younger.
Oh,
Lived
okay.
in France and Singapore. Lived in England
Oh,
for a little
okay.
bit and pretty much mostly Colorado since. So
Okay,
mostly traveling,
that's what I
but
was thinking. Okay, that makes
yeah.
sense. Because I remember you were saying like, yeah, you lived internationally, so
Mhm.
that didn't help influence your palate because you're not.
Yeah.
It's not just cheeseburgers and pizza.
Yeah.
You know,
There
you're
are
like,
a lot of those, but yes.
but you probably
Um,
had like better versions of it or more
yeah.
authentic versions of it.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
did have amazing cheeseburgers while we are in Japan. In Nara specifically, it
Really?
was, I don't know, just the beef there is delicious. And I don't really eat red meat very often. It's kind of a special
Oh,
occasion meat for me. So that
heck
was
yeah.
definitely a treat and well worth it. So
Heck yeah. If you're gonna
yeah,
do it in a place that does it right.
do it right. Yeah,
I There's a cheesecake spot in
yeah,
town that's like my go-to. I won't eat
yeah.
any cheesecake anywhere else because I know it's homemade and it's huge slices and it's like if I'm
Hmm.
gonna eat it, I'm gonna eat it. Like I
Yeah,
don't want these small like
sad little pieces.
just sad little pieces. What am I gonna do with that?
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair.
that's one of my vices. And candy. I
Yeah.
like certain types of candy. I think I've grown into a picky eater
Hmm.
because I like what I like. I
Yeah.
like the vegetables I like. I like the fruit I like. I don't need to experiment. I'm not a very adventurous eater. Now,
That's
I'll
okay.
try things. If I don't like it. I have
Hmm.
no shame of like, I'm never going to eat this again. I have no
Yeah,
desire to,
yeah.
you know. I used to hate when
Most
people say,
part.
we haven't had my version. I'm like, I don't, it's too late. That bitch is burned. Sorry.
Ruled it out. No. Do you have a
Oops.
favorite cheesecake? What's your favorite?
I like, okay, so they have this peanut butter one here, this place called Christo's. That's really good.
Hmm.
Um, a good plain cheesecake is great, but I think anything with a little more like strawberry, a little more, sometimes a little chocolate into it a bit. I like tasting different exotic ones just to see which one works best.
Hmm.
But my palate is very sweet. I don't like a lot of dark
Yeah.
chocolates. I like a lot of sweet chocolates. I like a lot of, sweeter peanut butter, anything that's like sweet when
Yeah.
it comes to that.
Sugar.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, I try to cut out a lot of like extra sugar, but like I
Yeah.
do indulge.
It comes back with candy.
There's candy and
That's
cheesecake, so
that's
probably won't have
fair.
teeth by the time I'm 50, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
No, no, no. Keep brushing them. You'll be fine. I think it'll
Be
be okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Um, like Whole Foods gummy bears, these
Hmm.
365 ones are my favorite.
I don't think I've ever
I'm
had
picky.
those.
Like I became picky. Oh, they're like the best for
Hmm.
me. I just like how chewy they
I think
are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now with these gummy bears, they have. I don't know what Whole Foods or Amazon did. I don't know what Jeff Bezos did because originally it was $5 and it was a huge pack,
Okay.
but now they're only
Hmm.
making them for like $3.50 and like smaller packs. And I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
And for 2 months, they were gone out of Whole Foods. They're like my movie theater candy. Every time I go to the movies, I get that candy.
Yeah.
So like that's probably why I haven't been to the movies in a while because I can't eat the candy I want.
What's the point? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. That is fair. That is interesting going to different theaters and
Yeah.
figuring out what their options are. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
since like dining in at movies has become more normalized, at least in Colorado, I feel
Oh
like
yeah, same here.
theaters are just kind of all over the place. But we
Mm.
recently went to
The Cinema
see the
Cafe
second Moana.
experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm, yeah, but they didn't have like drinks available like in the
What?
theater, which sometimes you can do that, but here you had to like go to the bar outside of the theater, but you could order food from inside, but that was separate. I don't know. They all have like
Um,
their own little kind of setup, which is
yeah.
thing. But
I think you would like the movie theaters here because you're
yeah,
pretty. You guys are like you're a cinephile. I would
yeah.
classify you as that.
We like
If there
movies.
was a classifier, you like movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I experience sometimes, but I also kind of find it annoying. You know, I'm a crowd to the old man sometimes, but like
Yeah, yeah.
it's like they arrive to take your order sometimes at the worst time.
Hmm.
And it's like, look, I'm locked into Inception right now. I don't need to see you like bent over talking to this other customer about their
Yeah. I know. There's not
no.
like a perfect way for them to accomplish what they need to do, but I agree. I feel like timing is kind of important, especially with more serious
Yeah.
movies. There are some
Yeah.
theaters where I think you put in your order ahead of time, which maybe that's a better system.
I think
But
so.
yeah, it's always interesting to see how successful or unsuccessful they are with taking your order and delivering food. Yeah.
I would do it like that. I would have you put it in ahead of time. And then I
Hmm.
would say, if you're going to work here at my cinema theater, hypothetically,
Hmm.
every employee needs to see the movies
Hmm.
already. So you know what's happening. So like say Inception, the moment like Matthew McConaughey's driving away from Murph in the
Hmm.
cornfield crying, after that, go ahead and get the order
Hmm.
because you don't really care. Who cares? He's going up in space now. But do not come and get the order or pick up the trash or whatever when they come back from what Murphy's Planet or whatever. Spoiler alert for Inception, and
Yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah.
25 years later. Don't do that. That is not the time
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
do
it is
that.
it is interesting. I don't know. And it's just so expensive now. I'm like, if I just want to like
Yeah,
eat and drink and just watch a good movie, I'm almost like tempted to stay at home, wait till it releases on TV
I
and
know. I know.
I don't know. Expensive.
It's tough, and it's like it's not like the movie's out. Like I'm sure there's a lot of movies out, but
Hmm.
like I think I'm gonna watch Gladiator 2 tonight because it's I finally have
Are you?
time to go. Yeah, I haven't seen. I wanted to see it in theaters, just didn't get around to go doing it, and now I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna watch Gladiator 2 tonight because it's on, and I've got this Paramount Plus trial, so I'm gonna use it.
Yeah.
Um,
I
what
haven't seen the
else?
first one.
Oh, you definitely should.
I know. I feel like I'm like one of the few people in the world. It's the other movie.
That's okay.
Forrest Gump, I think, is another one I've never
You
seen.
haven't? Oh man.
I don't know if I
Oh
ever will.
man, that's my. You should okay. You should watch
Should
both
I?
for sure.
Okay.
I mean, if you go to Japan again, you can watch both those movies back to back and still
That's
not be done with
true.
the flight.
That's true.
Um,
That was
nah,
lots of
Forrest Gump is definitely my move. It's my
yeah.
if I was an actor and I needed to watch a movie to cry, I'd
Hmm.
watch the ending of Forrest Gump and it'll get me there.
Yeah.
Like
That's fair.
it's surprising that's the movie that does that to me.
It's deep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't know why I haven't. It's like kind of one of those like cliche everyone's seen it kind of movies, and I
yeah.
just haven't sat down to watch it. And now I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. I
Have
don't
you? Do
know.
you
Just
get
keep
like
going with this.
you just keep going until you're dead. Like I've never seen Forrest Gump.
Died without seeing Forrest
Like
Gump.
when you see like when you go to like Universal Studios or anywhere, and you see the Bubba Gump shrimp, you're just like, I wonder why they named it that.
Pretty much. My sister actually worked at one of those here in Denver, and I had no idea there was an affiliation. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're
You had
like,
to
what a
wear,
nice title.
yeah. They like force their employees to wear that like shrimp costume.
Yeah,
I don't know
I
if they do
mean,
that in Orlando or not, but yeah, I
Bubba
remember
Gump just
they
because I don't need to eat there.
yeah. Is that where he works, or is what's the story with that? I don't even know. I have no context
What's
whatsoever.
the story? What's the That's the
What is
funniest question
bubblegum?
ever. So
Yeah.
what's the context of this Bubba Gump thing? I don't get it. Now you definitely got to watch the movie. It's so like crucial.
Okay. Okay.
You're
Yeah.
like, I don't get
No
what's
idea.
the point.
Yeah. I'll have
That's
to
so funny.
just a thought, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. If you got time, it's on Netflix or Hulu. It's always
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Um, is there a movie that you like? Is there a movie that you can cry at? Oh, that you
Lot. Probably most. I mean, even in Moana too, I was pretty teary eyed at a few parts. I feel like really anything with any semblance of like emotional depth, I will probably cry. I don't know
oh, then
what.
you'll cry at Forrest Gump.
Yeah, most likely. Most animated movies will get me somehow.
Mm.
Gosh, there was one movie that we watched flying back from Japan. It was about dog and a robot. I can't even remember what it was called. It was the
What?
cutest thing, but it's a newer movie. That like had me in tears. I don't know. I'm just a softie, I guess.
Most.
But
That's all right. That's
yeah,
okay. I think in movies you should be. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I've never seen the Moana. I've never seen one or two. I can't remember the last
No,
Pixar movie I've seen, but I've cried like at the original Pixar stuff. Like
yeah.
I just kind of got out of it. I feel like they kind of. I think the last one I saw was Soul, and that wasn't in theaters. I think that was
Mm.
during Pixar used to be the goat of getting you to a spot. Like I saw Encanto, and I was like, all right,
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't really love that one.
I,
Honestly, that was my
I,
least favorite recent one.
yeah, I felt like it was trying too hard to
Yeah,
be
I agree with you.
Pixar cute, right? Like it was like
Yeah,
we're Pixar. Like
I
okay,
know. I didn't love that one. I think you'll like Moana. I I recommend it.
one day.
Yeah.
It's like I've never seen
Uh,
Inside Out.
mhm.
I'm trying to think
Yeah,
anyone
that
that I
one's
haven't.
okay. I don't know. Coco was really good. Did you see Coco?
Nope.
That
I
one
have
makes
no
you.
idea what it's about. I could literally the character's gonna be flying in front of me. I'll be like, what is this
That's
creature?
fair. I recommend that one. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. Do you have any other like movies that you haven't seen that you know everyone else in the world has seen?
What is it? I'm trying to think. I don't think I've watched everyone has okay, I would say finished all I haven't seen all of Saving Private Ryan. I don't think I have.
I don't think I have
I don't
either.
think I've seen that one.
Yeah,
Oh, It's a Wonderful Life. I don't think I've ever watched I'm not a big Christmas movie anyway, but I don't think I've ever watched though It's a Wonderful Life.
that's fair.
I think I watched Citizen Kane once when I was young and never even going to film school, I never went back to it. It was like it's
Yeah,
kind of something you just keep secret. Like I never finished Citizen Kane.
that's pretty long.
Um,
Yeah, that's a commitment.
trying to think.
That's
Most of
fair.
the classic stuff I've seen, I'm sure
Yeah,
somebody would in the comments will be like, "Oh, you haven't seen such and such," and I'd be like, "Actually, no, I haven't." Uh,
yeah, I know. There's some that
I think Godfather 1 and 2.
yeah,
Really,
probably
there's a
see
few.
them.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a few. I've seen all the Saw movies like 15 times,
My
but I
gosh.
haven't seen Citizen Kane. So
Oh, what does that say about you? I don't know.
says a lot. Like man, this is
Yeah,
cinema.
yeah,
Um,
that's
what else
fair.
haven't I seen? I mean, look, I love good movies. Like I watched The Substance
Hmm.
like I guess a few weeks ago at this point,
Did you like it?
which I thought was good. I thought it was like all right, a little long, but like it got there.
Yeah. I've heard people like it or feel like it was interesting, I guess. Um, I've been swayed against watching it, I think, but we'll see.
Really? Why?
I don't know. Just I don't know. The overall tone. Tristan's really afraid of
Uh,
needles. I heard there's a lot of needles in it. I don't know.
Um, there, okay, there is, I think, but not. Look, I don't like needles either, and body horror. I'm like, I don't get squeamish at stuff, but I kind of get like, all right, can we
Yeah.
get to the? Honestly, you can. I think you'd enjoy it. It's not as like grotesque as I think it's advertised as it is. It isn't until
Yeah.
let's say like the last end of the movie where you're like, oh my god. But even then,
Mhm.
you're kind of waiting for it to be done anyway because the story is pretty much over. But
Yeah.
I think you'd like it. Just to say you watched it, I guess it's a
Okay.
Demi Moore. She was just nominated for the Academy Award, so I think
Mm-hmm.
if you watched it, it's cool. Like, have you
Okay.
seen the Smile movies? Like, I just saw Smile 2.
Mm-mm.
That was okay. It was cool.
Yeah.
You know,
I haven't seen those.
you
Guess
should.
I
I
haven't
think.
seen a
I
lot
mean,
of things that
you're a big.
release.
No, you're
I
not a
do
horror
like
person, are
horror.
you? Or
I do like horror
oh, then
movies. I'm very
watch it.
specific. I have a very narrow genre of horror that I like.
What is
I
it?
like more psychological thrillers. I don't want it to be
Okay.
too gory. I'm okay with some gore if it's like um tasteful, I guess. Like if it's relevant to the story,
Okay.
then sure. But outside of that, like I don't want to just see guts for the sake of seeing guts. Um, I
Okay.
also, I don't know, I want it to be more than just kind of some high school kids getting lost outside screaming
Oh
and
no.
running from a serial killer. I don't know. It needs to
Mm-hmm.
have a little bit more depth, I guess, than that. So, yeah, I guess if there's like intentional good writing, really love Midsommar, I feel like was like one of the more
Oh
recent
yeah,
like
I like that one. That was good.
favorites for horror. Um and honestly Hereditary too. So Ari Aster, I think he's
Oh, I
pretty
haven't seen
talented.
Hereditary.
Yeah.
That is the one that's everyone's seen that I haven't seen, and I don't know why I just haven't gotten around to it.
I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
Um it's pretty disturbing, but honestly, if you can handle Saw, I think you've got it. So,
Saw is like child's play. Saw is you know,
is
like
it?
Chuck E. Cheese to me. It's kind of like this is it's like the first few movies aren't as they're gory, but not gory like you think. Then the next movie becomes cartoonish. I think because I don't know it's all make believe,
Yeah.
and I think every character in a movie they do dumb things.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of like, eh. But I think the substance, I wouldn't classify it as a horror movie, but I can see it has body horror in it.
Yeah.
But because I think you like it, because you're thinking more like you like stuff like Seven,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
something like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it has some grotesque things, but it's not, nobody's arms are getting cut off and blood spraying everywhere, and
Yeah.
face is falling off.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, and it's
like I haven't
crucial to
seen
the
those.
storyline. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's good. I mean, I feel like my movie genres, I just watch whatever I feel like it at the time. Like I have no ones that I love more than the other. I guess I would say I like spy stuff more than anything. I find that kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
That's cool.
see what else. Like my plan is to do a James Bond ranking film. I'm trying
Hmm.
to find the time to do that.
Yeah.
I've thought about it for years, and it fluctuates like every time I think about it because I think that would
But
be a fun activity.
yeah. Do you have a favorite James Bond? Like
Uh,
actor?
yeah, I flipped more in Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a campy with a little hard edge. Connery's like, well, can be considered, he's the greatest of all time to play him in a way because he was the first. But I like what Daniel Craig did. I like what Pierce Brosnan did. I like what George Lazenby did. I like what they all have done. But having watched all the movies multiple times, books, like I
Mm-hmm.
like Roger Moore because his screen presence is just so magnetic. Watching him
Mm-hmm.
play this, not a goofy spy, but I get why he was successful in the 70s and 80s. And then the
Mm-hmm.
Timothy Dalton was like the Daniel Craig of James Bond before Daniel Craig. But the world wasn't
Mm-hmm.
ready. And then Pierce Brosnan just in GoldenEye just was like the perfect version of him in a way. And then they just steered off into a whole nother direction. I like movies that kind of are campy, but don't take itself too seriously. Like I like the Daniel Craig James Bonds, but sometimes I felt like they were going so serious. And it's kind of like you know, Mission successful because it's serious, but also kind of stupid. Like, be stupid, you know, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Have
know,
fun
I,
with it.
you know,
Yeah.
have fun with it. Like, he's an alcoholic super spy that has not caught a single STD. He goes around just shooting and killing people anytime he wants to. Like, that up. I mean, I know Austin Powers did that, but also just,
Yeah.
I think we need to get back to that, to have fun at the movies again, you know? So,
Fair. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I
my
feel like
little tangent.
I agree though. And I feel kind of similarly like with Batman. I kind of appreciate all the adaptations they've had. And I think, some have been a little more campy than others, but most recently, and I don't know if we've talked about it, but like the Penguin series that just came out on HBO
Oh,
is
yeah.
so good. If you haven't watched that
Top
yet,
tier. I did. I
yeah,
really enjoyed
good.
it. Yeah, I
That was
really enjoyed that one.
pretty incredible. I wouldn't say it was like more fun, I guess, than the other Batmans, but I really think Colin Farrell is
I'd say it's
pretty
fun.
incredible. Yeah, it was interesting. I feel like it was they did a lot more research, and I don't know, just I really liked all of the characters, and um yeah, I just feel like that was honestly one of the more
Yeah.
interesting and well executed shows I've watched in a really long time.
It took it seriously. I
Yeah.
like that. Because like when you're playing a character called the Penguin, I think they were straddling the line between giving him the back sympathetic back. It's a character called the Penguin, and it's
Yeah.
about Batman. Like
Right.
you gotta play with it. Either
Mm-hmm.
take it seriously or you don't, but don't be like so arty farty up your own ass about
Mm-hmm.
like shit like
Yeah.
the it's Batman, for God. It's a comic book character. It's a
Mm-hmm.
cartoon. So it's like, it's
Yeah.
seriously, but have fun. And I think that show did a good job of like expanding on the movie, which I really enjoyed the movie, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Me
said,
too.
okay, if Gotham is a place, let's make it look horrible, like a place you never want to live.
Yeah.
And that show really made me like, God, this place sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt
Like,
like the
you don't want to
US a
live
little
here.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this place is horrible. Every
Yeah.
place is like we all need to be doing drops or whatever weird little stupid drug thing
Yeah.
that they're doing. Like I really enjoyed that show. And I get when people like try to compare it to Sopranos, but those are totally two different animals. You know,
Yeah.
uh,
I
I
agree.
don't see it.
I think, obviously with the mafia, sure, there's like some similarities, I suppose,
Uh,
but I think it was definitely more reflective of like current day and age, like what, I don't know, New York City is like and potentially
yeah,
could
me.
continue to
You
be.
know,
And yeah, I don't know. It was grim. It was really cool though. I think they did an incredible job. So that's my favorite thing
were
recently.
you were you shocked? I mean, spoiler alert for anybody to seen the Penguin. Were you shocked with like the Penguin and Vic and all that stuff?
Yeah, yeah, it truly was. I definitely cried. Yeah, it was I don't know, you really got attached to every single character. You really voted for every character too. You want every single one of them to like figure it out,
Yeah.
even though they kind of all work against each other. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it was incredible. Great acting.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was great acting.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that when like actors take quote unquote comic book material and they say, you know what? I'm gonna treat it like these are characters that want things. Like, did
Mhm.
Oswald know he killed his brothers?
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that he didn't know they were dying, but I do think he let them in there,
I don't
not
know.
caring what happened. But the
Yeah.
fact that they died, he kind of was like, well, okay, I guess whatever. But like, I don't think
Yeah.
he was intentionally wanted them to die. I just think he was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I don't want
Premeditated.
you guys around me right now. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he knew they were going to die. I thought he thought they would get out, but I also thought that he was kind of like, well, if they die, they die, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose.
I think at first maybe that wasn't his thought. And then I think once the door was closed, I think it kind of was like, that's their fate. And then just kind of let it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think like I bet if he thought they were survivors, they would have survived. Well, it's an evil act, but also
Mm-hmm.
in him being like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old boy, you know,
Mm-hmm.
his brain hasn't technically fully developed, but is he already pure evil at that point? And then I love the fact that his mom knew and just like, I ought to get this kid killed.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
love that part,
I know
which
the
is so
mom, she's
realistic.
incredible. Yeah, everyone felt very human and very like relatable to
Yeah.
some extent. I think was
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
pretty hard to achieve. So
It sure was. And I like the idea that, like, even for the mom, that we learn in the later episodes that, yeah, she did talk to that neighborhood gang, right? I have to kill my kid. Because if you're a parent in that Gotham, in that life, you would consider that, I guess. But like so many other shows would have had her be naive the whole time. Like she had no idea, and that him confessing was a revelation. But
hmm
like her being like, oh, I always knew. I'm not an idiot. And I love when characters are not idiots. Yes, as
hmm
humans, we do ignorant, dumb things, but like we're not like like we know when something's up. We're not
yeah.
like, well, I don't know what happened, Ma. I think they just were out at the movies. Like, wait, what?
hmm
Like she knows her kid's a needy little crazy kid.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I feel like they really did their homework with every single character. I think all the actors really did a good job at portraying like the humanity of and just the
Mhm.
complications within their roles. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think I highly recommend it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Do you have like a favorite superhero character?
Mm, really not a superhero person. I think that's why it's so funny. I really appreciate Batman so much, but I think I like Batman and all the villains within that realm. I think it's I definitely am drawn to darker things, and I think the kind of psychological intensity of a lot of the villains is really appealing to me.
Yeah.
Um I don't know though, as far as like superheroes go, I would say the two that I liked the most throughout my youth and like up till now would be Batman and Spider-Man.
Okay.
Um Spider-Man, I couldn't tell you why. I think because again, he's like relatable. I think he's just more, I don't know, kind of like this random kid that wasn't
Yeah.
really like ready to assume this was responsibility. And I think it's just, I don't know, his story is more interesting for it. Um, I feel like all the other superheroes are too like perfect or too contrived, I
Hmm.
guess. I just kind of like how,
I
yeah,
can see that.
more of just like a kid. I don't know.
Like you, as they say, you could be wearing the mask. No one knows, like,
Yeah.
I've always thought that too. Batman, Superman, of course. I think the idea when quote unquote the superheroes are human, but also striving to be better than what a normal human would be. Like I
Mhm.
think, I know we're almost out of time, but one of the things I've always enjoyed about superhero medium is that it sometimes it's unabashedly trying to be pure in a way about
Mhm.
certain characters, like their motivations of good. And,
Mhm.
we live in a world now where, or maybe we've always lived in a world where that's always not respected. Um,
Mhm.
like I've never wanted to be a cop, but I've always thought about the idea of like solving a crime. And superheroes,
Mhm.
that's what they do. They work outside the law because they know the law is. But like, if you could be Batman or Superman or Spider Man and act faster than our people that's supposed to save us can do or
Mhm.
protect us, like I've always was fascinated by that. Like especially,
Mhm.
like Batman or Superman, just being the thing that we can strive. I always found interesting, even if I don't always, agree or even if you don't have to wear tights. But I've always liked that concept of like, okay, you could try and be better. That's the only, I think that's why like Captain America and all these other things work now. Cause it's like
Mhm.
trying to do better every day. Um, does that mean you'll make the best decisions? Probably not. Who does? But nah, I've always
Yeah.
been fascinated by that. And I think that's why I like that show. It says, look, these people in this Gotham are just trying to go on with their lives. Like Vic
Mhm.
had a family until a flooding, like I'm, destroyed like Katrina. And that's all I
Mm-hmm.
kept seeing is destroyed his home and killed his family. And it's like, how do you rebuild from that? Same way that people probably in
Mm-hmm.
the fires are going through right now in California. It's like, how do you rebuild from such tragedy? And I think if superheroes did exist and they were that pure in a way, I think it would be a nice idea of like, here's this person coming down to help, no
Mm-hmm.
questions asked. I don't know if our world would accept help without like conditional, like, oh, you're trying to save me? Okay, we need
Probably
more
not.
money.
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
It'd be a lot of yeah, mistrust and no,
mhm. Yeah,
unfortunately.
unfortunately, so. But
Hmm.
I wish I could talk with you for the next 2 hours, really. But I know I do want to do one thing though. So tradition, I have this segment on here called questions of the past, questions of the future, where I ask you a question that my last guest wanted me to ask my future guest, which is you. And
Okay.
then in turn, you get to ask a question that I will ask the next guest.
Okay.
Um, and the question that I'm going to ask you, you kind of already answered. The last
Okay.
guest wanted to know what is like a dream destination that you would love to go to or you would love to travel to. And we've
Mm.
already talked about that.
Yes.
But yeah, I would add an addendum to that. Which place would you like to redo again with the knowledge you have now, or travel, I should say.
Um, so I guess it's really hard. I wish I could just travel every day, but I really, that's really tough. I have had the advantage of traveling when I was younger, so I think being able to revisit some of those places as an adult and just have a completely different perspective, and experience would be really cool. We're hoping to actually go to Italy sometime this year, so that will be kind of a
Okay.
place I've been before but haven't really experienced as an adult. I think we're gonna probably go to like southern Italy, hopefully the Coast area, and then go over to Sicily and
Oh,
ideally
wow.
Malta at the very end. So
Yeah.
it'll be a little bit of something I've been experienced before and then somewhere new. So that'll be really cool. But yeah, after that, I think my next destination might be Morocco. Like I really, really, really want to go to
Oh,
Morocco.
Morocco. Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds. I've
Yeah.
always liked the sound of Morocco as
Yeah.
a place to be. Like I always thought it was like, welcome to Morocco. It's like,
I
yeah, it's
know.
just
It looks
it has rhythm
incredible.
and music to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just
Oh,
so
that's
much natural
cool.
beauty. Yeah. So those my
I love
answers.
that. I
Yeah.
like that. Now, for me, I would say I would love to do Malta again. Just this conversation sort of sparked that idea of like,
Mhm.
as an adult, furthermore into my adulthood, I should say, I would love to do a redo of that.
Mhm.
Just to do it and really give my true experience to people.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm gonna open the floor to you. What question should I ask the next guest?
Oh, can it be anything?
Anything at all, and I'll ask.
Mm.
Yes.
Um, uh, hmm.
Can be philosophical, can be
So I know
as
there's too many.
anything. I mean, yeah, it's just something that's just like I want to like. It's like passing the baton.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Everything just feels kind of tangential to that now. But I feel like I guess if you could pick anyone to meet, whether real or fictional, who would you meet?
Oh,
It could be from like any time period, um, and why. Yes.
all right. I
Yeah.
like that. Okay. So I'll answer first just to get it started for the next person. I would
Okay.
say because like even with this question, I feel like this question has always been asked of
Hmm.
people or in general, and I've always given different answers over my life.
Yeah.
Um, I think I've always said like real people, but I think I'll go with fictional. And
Hmm.
the first person that came to mind was Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Just to really ask him like, "What's your problem, buddy?" Like,
It's problem.
wait,
Yeah.
why? why you let Hermione do all the work? How do you feel about being the chosen one? You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I
Serious
would love to
question.
ask him directly after, because you know in
Mm-hmm.
the books and the movies too, like they do a time skip. I would
Mm-hmm.
love to just interview him and chat with him, like maybe a year after the books, and just to see how his
Mm-hmm.
life has been. Like, so,
Yeah.
just to talk with him, get to know him more, ask him what
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, what keeps you going. And like, if he could be transported to our world and like, what is
Mm-hmm.
his thoughts on it,
Yeah.
as a wizard to like a muggle,
Mm-hmm.
and what are some things he would do differently, you know, now that you know what you know about Snape, like
Outcome.
how you
Yeah.
really feel
Yeah.
about him, why do you
Yeah.
think,
That's
do
fair.
you think you would have done better if they treated you like if Dumbledore gave everybody the truth from the get go and stopped
Mm-hmm.
all this cloak and dagger? Do you think you would have saved a lot more lives? You know, what's up with Ginny? What's up with that? Like, how does Ron feel about that?
Yeah. Gotta get to know
Just
them on a personal level. Yeah.
yeah, to the personal level. Just
Mhm.
something a little fun. But like he's
I
always
like
like, just modern day like hero's journey. Like,
it.
okay, how does it feel to be the most famous person in the world? Like,
Mm-hmm.
done differently. How would you have helped Voldemort find love? All that. Just
That's
just as
fair.
a fun answer.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever graduate Hogwarts? I would ask him that. So did they
Yeah.
ever let you in? Like,
Technically, yeah, I don't know. I don't think
I
they
mean,
had
I'm
a
assuming
chance
he had
to.
to. Like, that
I don't. I
automatically
suppose.
pass. I saved the world. Uh,
Yeah. Great questions.
that's what I would ask him. But
Yeah.
this has been great, Juliana. I really
Yeah.
appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. And is there anything you want to plug? Any place you want people to follow you at?
Honestly, I have an Instagram, but I don't really use it. So they're welcome to
That's all
follow
right.
me, but I may or
All
may
right.
not start posting some pictures of my travels there. We'll see, but to be determined.
Well, shit,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I
All
really
righty.
appreciate you carving out this time to interview me and speak with me. And yeah,
We're just
look
chatting.
forward
That's
to
why I like doing it. Getting to know
sharing.
people even more. So,
Yeah. Excited to see the
all
next
right,
one too.
friends. This is. Oh yeah. Well, I'm talking to anybody and everybody. Tristan could be on next if he wants. We can chat about whatever. I do not
Sure.
mind.
Love that.
Uh,
He loves to talk.
all
Uh,
right.
well, have
So
a good
it's
one
another
too.
episode of Nico Likes to Talk, friends. I'll catch you on the flip side. You know where to find me. Instagram, TikTok for now, and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can get them. All righty.